So what I've wanted to do with these speakers is to give that wow factor in the price point. I did it with my previous company. Now I'm doing it again. I'm adding looks to it this time rather than the bland look that we had last time.
Yeah.
I want it to be the complete package.
Yeah.
And we've gone up to the next higher entry-level price point, so I can get even better performance. It's not much of a stretch, but it gives enough to give me more freedom to play with the materials that I've got in the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
Now I've gone back to a conventional square box. Rounded boxes were in vogue, and now you look at the trend like in Europe, it's going back to these more square
boxes.
Shapes.
Yeah.
And they're definitely easier to manufacture.
Sure.
And quality control is easier. I can guarantee better quality rather than hand applying the finishes to a rounded off box.
Yeah.
And in terms of cabinet resonance, the curved cabinets moved the resonance. They didn't eliminate them. It's kind of, what flavor would you like?
Yeah.
So I thought, instead of spending money to do it that way, let's put the money into engineering the drive units.
Yeah.
And then a bit left over to make it look a bit nicer.
Yeah.
So it's trim rings over everything to hide all the screws to give that more elegance and nice brushed looks. Cabinet construction itself, it's a very thick front baffle and back baffle, and then thinner
on the
side
sides.
panels.
Okay.
Now the drivers themselves, everything for this product lineup, once again I've designed everything from scratch.
Yeah.
I didn't design the chassis, okay, I admit it. But it's a aramid fibre cone and dust cap, and I've carefully played with the profiles and the surround shape to get the characteristic that I want from this. And an inverted dust cap. With the strength of aramid, you can get away with a dust cap going out, but people are still going to want to poke it in the store. So I thought, yeah, we'll eliminate that problem. But what I've engineered into this one is it's an 1.5 inch voice coil, and it's quite a long coil. So it's got a lot of thermal mass to help with power handling.
Yeah.
Nice big magnet, and then a very big vented pole piece. So I don't get this pressure build-up from behind the dust cap, which forces air out everywhere and makes the sound kind of unclean. So this gives a very dynamic bass performance. Tweeter itself, it's a new, we're calling it a deep spheroid waveguide. So it's a spheroidal surface which allows the wave to expand nicely, aids the efficiency, and gives it a more controlled directivity. And when you do this, it becomes less sensitive to diffraction from the edges, because the wavefront's already kind of grown large before it's going to get to that point.
Right.
So that's the technology behind the tweeter. And again, new dome.
Yeah.
I've hollowed out the center pole and put in absorber so that we can absorb some of the back wave from that. Aluminum voice coil, vented. So a lot of engineering gone into that tweeter. And surprisingly, the grill has almost zero effect. I was very good with that. Although the first prototypes, they were held to the magnet with 4 screws here.
Okay.
And wouldn't you know, the little depression that you need to screw the screw in affected the performance. It gave me a dip at...
Well, of course it did. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I had to re-engineer it and have a different fixing method. So I've spent a lot of time, I've been doing this 3.5 months now, but it's enabled us to get a performance level that is hopefully surprising. So we've got a number of speakers in the product lineup, starting with the 5-inch two-way bookshelf.
Okay.
And
B5 is the model?
That's the B5.
B5.
So it's quite simple. B5 means 5-inch, B6 means 6-inch, and so on.
Okay.
Although that's not the 3B5, so I don't. It fell apart when we got to that point. Efficiency is only about 85 dB, 86. It's middling efficiency, but I did that deliberately because I want good bass performance out of the speaker.
Yeah.
So many smallish speakers kind of push for high efficiency, so it sounds loud when you switch from one speaker to another on the shop floor.
Yeah.
But you sacrifice bass.
Yeah.
And I want it to feel as though it's a complete performance from the speakers.
Right, right.
So that at entry level, you don't need to then keep on spending and add a subwoofer and whatever, and then the problem of integrating it.
Sure.
So it goes down pretty low, and I think you heard that.
Absolutely, I did, yeah.
So we then step up to the 6-inch two-way. exactly the same tweeter, box construction,
Yep.
but it's now a 6.5 inch
Yeah.
driver. So everything that I did to engineer this one, I've put into that. So now we get not so much more bass extension. There's a little, but
Yeah.
I've got added sensitivity. So now you do have a step up in sensitivity. So you could get away with either a smaller amplifier, or you can just play louder.
Sure.
And in terms of playing louder, a 6-inch can go about 4 dB louder in the bass than a 5-inch.
Okay.
So you've got now even better bass
Okay.
dynamics.
Okay.
And we have an add-on Atmos module.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about
For
that
those
guy.
of you who are, if you want Atmos, I mean, I believe in Atmos,
Sure.
but it's slow coming, progressing in the marketplace.
Okay.
But we are offering an add-on module for
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Then we go to the center channel.
Yeah.
So 2 5-inch drivers, same tweeter.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a progression of
These
what
are
we're
all
doing
ported.
there.
None of these are sealed.
They're all vented
They're-
loudspeakers.
okay, yeah, okay.
And again, a dual flared,
Yep.
nice large diameter vent to keep down the chuffing as much as I can.
Sure. Sure.
Even the center channel in this case is vented at the rear.
Okay.
And now here, although the box size is bigger than that, I've deliberately gone for sensitivity this time, not bass extension,
Okay.
because it's a center channel.
Yeah.
You're going to have a subwoofer. It's for home theatre
You're right.
application. So why not? Since most of the sound in a theatre track comes through the center channel,
Yeah. Right.
give it the extra sensitivity. You don't need the bass extension.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So that's the compromise I made there.
Okay.
Then when we go to the F5, I knew there was a reason for we could explain it
Bookshelf
easily.
floor stander. F.
Floor stander, yes.
Makes
there you
perfect
go.
sense. I like it.
So this section, internally, it's divided here.
Yeah.
So it is the bookshelf on top of the subwoofer section, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I've got extra sensitivity, bass extension,
Yeah.
power handling, 3 5-inch
Yeah.
drivers. So that's going to be, and 3 vents in the back.
Okay.
So this is going to be quite a substantial capability.
Okay.
system.
Sensitivity on this guy.
This is going to be around 88.
Okay.
So
A little bit more
a little
sensitive.
more, yeah.
Okay.
Double the amplifier power, essentially, or
Awesome.
half required.
Awesome. Do we have a rough idea of price points? I know that it's.
So this is going to be a shade over $200.
What?
I think MSRP is going to be $229,
Right.
but street price, judging by what happens in the past, it's going to be $200.
Okay.
And this is going to be street price somewhere around $250.
Okay.
So
Now is
a
that
pair.
for speak for
That's a pair. That's a pair.
the? Okie dokie.
And this is about double the price of the bookshelf.
Okay. Okay.
Now we have also got a line of 3
Yeah.
subwoofers.
Yeah.
Now it starts with this one,
Yeah.
and it's a 10-inch downfiring woofer,
Yeah.
vented box,
Okay.
and it's a 100-watt amplifier on the back.
Okay.
RMS.
Yeah.
Or average power.
Bash amplifier. I
Bash
think is-
amplifier, yes.
Great.
So
okay.
it's capable of 200-watt peaks,
Yeah.
but continuous power long term is
Okay.
100 watts.
Okay.
And I say vented box, a nice double flared vent to try and keep the chuffing noise down, but you're always going to reach a limit with vented boxes of chuffing.
Sure.
And that's going to be a street price, well, MSRP I think $229
Okay.
and street price $200. So
Okay.
again, remarkable
Yeah.
value.
Incredible value.
But otherwise, let's say conventional, just well engineered,
yeah.
of course.
Of course.
Now we step up to this 10-inch driver. Now this is a much longer throw 10-inch driver, larger voice coil, better
Yeah.
power handling, 200-watt continuous power amplifier, 400-watt peak,
Yeah.
and a downfiring passive radiator.
Okay. Wow. There's
So-
passive here. Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
now it's the same size box, but with a much more capable 10-inch driver.
Okay.
And when you do that, you vent. In order to reduce chuffing, you have to increase the diameter of the vent.
Yeah.
In order to keep the same tuning frequency, it then has to grow longer.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of then doesn't fit in the box.
Yeah.
And if you wrap it around, you introduce chuffing noises.
Right.
So
you got a mess on your hands. Yeah.
Yes. So you go to a passive radiator.
Makes sense.
And then we step up to this one, which is a 12-inch driver.
Okay.
Bigger voice coil again.
Yeah.
500 watt continuous amplifier and 1000 watt peaks. And again, 12-inch downfiring passive radiator.
Yeah.
Now, what's unique about both of these is our control system. The plate on the back, the amplifier on the back, has no controls. It has an input and a power.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Every control is accessed through Bluetooth. It's low energy Bluetooth, and we're running an app for this.
Okay.
And it has a 12-band parametric EQ built in, which is user adjustable. You can graphically pull up and down and change the Q and the center frequency of each of those 12 equalizers.
Yeah.
But the problem is, how do you know what it's doing in the room? How do you measure it?
Sure.
We don't use an auxiliary microphone. Every Bluetooth device has a microphone built in.
Right, but the microphone's bad, so...
Well, it's not so much necessarily that it's bad, it's just you don't know what it is.
Okay, sure.
You don't have
There's
a calibration curve. And it's got a response that isn't flat, it's not reference quality.
Sure.
And then there's variability from sample to sample.
Okay, okay.
So how could we possibly use it to calibrate the sub?
Yeah.
Well, if you take a measuring microphone from out in the room, the closer you bring it to the loudspeaker, the sound from the loudspeaker grows in intensity as you get close to its near field, but the room sound stays the same. So now you attenuate the room sound with respect to the driver sound. So if you measure near field, you get a very smooth response, and it is basically the output of the subwoofer unencumbered by the room.
Sure.
Well, we know what that is because we designed it. We know what that near field response is.
Yeah.
So we put the microphone here, run a calibration.
Yeah.
It puts the test tones through.
Yeah.
It measures what this microphone is doing and then says, well, it says it's doing this, but we know it's actually doing this.
Yeah, right.
It calibrates the microphone.
Ah.
Then you move back out here, press the button again, and now it measures it in the room.
Position.
And then you can start correcting the response in the room. So it's a really cool way of doing it. No trailing cables.
Yeah.
It's low energy Bluetooth, so there's no pairing procedure. It just sees it and
done.
off.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can see here some of the graphical representation of what we're doing.
Fantastic.
So we think this is almost unique right now in the marketplace. And the price point of, well, this one was $229, street
Okay.
200. I think that's $449.
Okay.
And that's $699. So
Okay.
very good value. So that's the lineup, and deliberately introducing entry level
Yeah.
because I need people to get in. I still want to.
This is Andrew Jones talking about entry level.
I still want to.
love it. I love it.
I want to design an $80,000 speaker again, but I need people who want to buy it, and so I need people growing up and coming into that.
Making hi-fi cool again. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's so neat.
Yeah. We have. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
We're filming. Sorry, can we just?
Oh, I didn't see a camera. Oh, there it is.